In this video, I'll be sharing my reflection on the Chancellor's autumn statement, how this will impact or affect the ordinary man, woman, and child. Also, why we should be aware of the economic decisions that are being made by those who govern either our country or the world in general. Hi, my name is Mabel, hence this channel is called Ask Auntie Mabel. Today's video is actually from the reflection that the discussion that I had with some of the women in my Able Mabel Academy. It was very telling that some of us, about 50% of us, were not really in tune with the details, how the details of the policy were going to affect us, ourselves, our families, and every other person that is in our circle of influence. Also, there were some of us who had this no challenge attitude, who just think they couldn't be bothered. So by the end of our discussion, we all agreed that it was essential, it was very, very important for us to be aware of all these policies, procedures, economic decisions, taxes, and everything else, that the decisions that are being made by those who govern us, that it was very important that we should be aware of them and also know how those decisions and those taxes and economic decisions are going to be impacting on us in our day-to-day living, and also in our future plans and even our investments and everything we do that concerns our lives and our physical health, education, and well-being of ourselves and our family members. If you have watched this video up to this point, please give this video a like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. Put your notification bell on, because this is a time where we have to learn to educate ourselves. And also leave a comment below and share this video with at least one person that you think will benefit from it. And all of this, they are all free and they do make our channel to grow. During the discussion with this group of women, we realized that about 50% of us did not really take the time to look through the statement properly, to hear what the budget exactly was saying and how it was going to impact in our day-to-day lives. But the summary of the statement, of the autumn statement by the Chancellor, it was a budget of growth, stability, and public service. So I took notes from our discussion to share with you, my family, my YouTube family. So I'm looking at my notes, please. Then the next thing we heard was that, majority of us heard, was that there will be more money for the NHS, education, and public services, including mostly social services. So then there were the rest of it. I think it was just blur. It appears to have been blur to many people. That was actually why I decided to share this with you guys, because I realized that many of us don't take this seriously. I think we should try to start taking them seriously, whatever part of the world we live in, whether we live in Africa or the other part of Europe or even in US or Canada, that the policies and the budget that is being made by those who govern us impact on our day-to-day life. So because I will analyze the areas where this particular autumn statement impacts. We listed so many different areas. I know the list is not by all means exhaustive. I will listed 10 crucial areas where it was going to be impacting on us in one way or the other. One was that inflation rate is now 11.1%, which is the highest it's been in decades. So that definitely is affecting us in so many ways. For example, the Even our shopping bill right now, when you go shopping, every other thing you do is really impacting, it's really biting hard on many people, many of us, almost everyone. Then number 2 was the personal tax allowance. Although the focus was that it was going to impact like the higher rate of 150,000 per annum is down to 125 per annum. I know many of us will just say, oh, I don't earn that much anyway. There are only very few people who earn that. But we should know that now, if you combine it, there are many of us who are doing our own personal businesses. And we also know that there are our young adults, our children, who are really working so hard. And we expect them to fly because many of us have been crawling and struggling. But many of them have opportunity of growth to earn that much money. So this is going to impact them in one way or the other. It might seem as if a tiny minority, but there are people whom, because of their side hustles and side businesses combined with a good wage where they work so hard, they have the skills and the knowledge, and they are aiming for promotion, this is going to impact them greatly. So we should not only just be looking or thinking of ourselves. There are many of us will just think, oh, all I get is about, not many people get up to 50,000 per annum anyway. So that is going to impact on people we know. Then the third area we noted was the capital gain tax. I know some people will say, oh, this shouldn't really affect me, but there are quite a number of us who have our own residential property and who also have other assets like even rental properties or even shares or crypto or whatever. I know crypto is a bad guy right now, but there are still some people who have good investment. One way or the other, some of all this money, we are saving them so that it will be good for us. We have a good financial freedom and financial stability or freedom or independence in the future. This is going to affect us in one way or the other. So because your assets, even if it's your rental property right now, there's actually some people, I know there were 2 people in the group who their parents are very old right now, that they are likely to be selling their property that belong to their parents to share rent as children, among themselves and their siblings. So the capital gain tax in all of those assets is going to bite a lot of people in one way or the other. Then there were the corporation taxes as well. Some people will say, oh, I'm not a corporation. There are so many of us who are setting up small businesses, who are having side hustles, and who are also having even online or physical shop businesses. This is discouraging. It's not very encouraging. If this chancellor is going to be encouraging growth, how are you encouraging growth when the people who are trying to live above the breadline, you are just putting so much tax on every area of their lives? Then also number 5 area we covered was the benefit. Benefits is they tend to have got off positively because he is saying there's so much areas that have been covered for those who are on benefit or other form of either the job seekers allowance or the universal credit, which is where they are putting everybody right now, and even disability and other form of allowances, allowances for those who are struggling. We understand, especially those who cannot get back into work. So it is positive for those on benefits, but even the pensions as well. Let me just discuss the pension alongside this. It's a bit positive for them, but there are not many people in this bracket right now. Also, then the national minimum wage is being slightly increased, so which is we could see it as a positive as well for those who are stepping into work. But I know that's quite a sizable number of people as well, but none of the women in our group who this was going to impact on. But we should remember that our children and grandchildren are coming up who sometimes when they're in college or their first job, whether in part-time job, when they're in uni, is usually mostly minimum wage jobs. Then the energy bill, the big elephant in the room right now. Many of us are already struggling with our energy bill. I have just been recently told where we were paying 120 direct debit a month, my gas and electricity company just wrote to us now saying that they are increasing that to 246. That is more than, it's more than doubled what we are currently paying. So we know that the government said they are giving £400 back from between now. It's contributed that to every household, but I think that is changing slightly in the new year, in the next financial year, so that it's not everybody is going to be getting that right now. But it's not even that £400 is shared between how many months, and it's only getting about £66 a month towards your bill. That still doesn't make up for the huge increase that is being that the energy suppliers are charging us. You can imagine, I think before it was being frozen, that we'll be paying about £2,500 a year. That is just for your gas and electricity, guys. So those of you who are back home, I know not everybody, I know some people who watch my videos are not based in the UK, but you can see how this will impact on those of us who have dependent family and friends or relatives back home. Just imagine where you were paying about 1,200 in a year for your gas bill and electricity bill. Now you are now paying more than 2,500. It was capped at 2,500, but this autumn statement is actually saying that cap is going to be changed and it's going to be up to 3,000 per annum. So you can imagine, I know when some of you back on here that, oh, people in the UK, they get 20,000 per annum. They get 30,000 per annum. But you don't know that before that wage, if, for example, you actually earn about 30 or 40,000 per annum, before that wage gets to you, let's just break it down. Say, for example, you get 3,000 per month. Before it actually gets to you, about 1/3 of that money is already taken away from me, because by the time they take tax, national insurance, and if you have student loan to pay, someone like me, even as matured as I, because I went back to study social work when I was in my 40s, I still have student loan to pay. So about 200 and something plus is being taken away from my wages every month. So all of that is what you are paying towards your student loan. But it's even higher now for many of our young people and our adults and our children who are not adults. Some of them pay 9,000 per annum for their education, which means they're even having higher, much more bigger student loan than I had when I went back to study in uni. Okay, so it's a huge loss for us, because when we are struggling here, it means we have less disposable income to support our family and friends and members, friends and family members back home. Another area that was being covered was the stamp duties. Stamp duty has been frozen for a while. Even during the pandemic, it was all made a bit more favorable, but all of that there's a lot of shift now. There's a lot of increase, and we are going to be paying more stamp duties. I'm just being mindful not to go into so many details and figures here, because I don't want to get the figures wrong. Otherwise, this video will be too long. Then another area that people are being impacted as well, that some of us will be impacted, is electric cars, because there was a lady in the group when we were discussing who actually said herself and her husband bought electric car. They bought electric car, and also their adult son also bought electric cars. And bought electric car. Their adult son is married with his wife, bought electric car. It was incentive of the tax relief of the electric car that made them to buy it, and now all of that is being stripped away. So, but I know it's important. I know buying an electric car, one of the incentives is that you reduce the pollution in the environment, but obviously the tax incentive is also a positive. So in all, a lot of people, if you actually read between the lines of this autumn statement, can see that it was a budget of taxes. Many of us, almost all of us, are going to be worse off. The only people who are not worse off are those probably who are not even in employment, who are on benefit. And even then, what they might be getting on benefit, the extra they are being given, is taken away by high cost of living, and even all this, the energy bill and the shopping bill. Everybody that goes shopping, you can see each week you go shopping, you are paying more and more and more. So yeah, in all, everybody is going to feel the pinch. So just let me know what you think about what we have discussed in this autumn statement. Let us not be naive or just think that, oh, because majority of us work in the National Health Service, which is the NHS, which is the National Health Service, education or social service, that is just all that matters, because obviously in all and all those areas have already been overstretched. They are already they're already in deficit. So the money they have been that's been allocated is going to make a bit of difference, but that let us not be covered. Let us not just be blinded by that and don't look at how these other areas, the taxes, the other various taxes, is going to impact on our day-to-day life. In all, we're going to have less money in our pocket. So this is the more reason why we all should learn to budget more and to find a way to develop ourselves and improve our self-development, and start thinking what are those other skills that we have that we can use to develop our side hustle. Because at the end of the day, whether the side hustle is being taxed or not, having extra money coming in is still better than not having any extra money coming in. If you have watched this video up to this point, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up or a like button, and please leave your comments below. And all of this, they are all free, and they do make our channel to grow. On that note, I will say thank you for watching this video. As I always say, the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time to start is today. Therefore, start taking actions today. And I will see you in my next video.